They thought he'd be gone in a week. Buried, forgotten, just another nameless drifter with a criminal past. But death had other plans. He stayed. Not for days, not for years, but for 128 winters, lying perfectly still, his leathery skin preserved by accident, his name buried deeper than the grave itself. This is the haunting story of a man who refused to die, the man they called Stoneman Willie. In the cold November of 1895, a sickly man stumbled through the streets of Reading, Pennsylvania. Pale, drunk, delirious. He was arrested after being caught hiding under a bed in a boarding house. On him, a gold watch, a razor, and a few coins. Stolen. He told the police his name was James Penn, but that was a lie. Who he really was, no one knows. Even as he lay dying in prison, raving with fever, he refused to speak the truth. "I won't disgrace my family," he whispered. "They don't need to know what I've become." Then he died. 37 years old, alone, no family, no visitors, just a false name and a sad end. But this is where the story should have ended, with a simple burial in an unmarked grave. It didn't. The body was sent to a local undertaker named Theodore Alman, a curious man and a curious time. Embalming was still new. Ice was still commonly used to keep corpses cold. But Alman wanted more. He was experimenting with a new formula, something stronger, something that could last. He injected the body with his homemade mix. It had no recipe, just a guess and a heavy dose of formalin. What happened next stunned everyone. The man's skin hardened, his features remained intact, his mustache still curled. The body didn't rot, it turned to something else. Something like stone, but still hauntingly human. No one came to claim him, not a single soul. So Alman kept the body, to study, to observe, to marvel at his own accidental success. Months passed, then years, then decades. The locals gave the corpse a name, Stoneman Willie. He wasn't a mummy, they said. He was a legend, a relic from another time. A man frozen in shame, suspended in a tuxedo behind glass in the funeral home. Children grew up hearing stories of the man who never decomposed. Tourists came to see him. His skin, once pale as wax, darkened with age, but never faded away. Even as generations changed, Willie remained, watching, waiting. The funeral home never exploited him. He was treated not as a display, but as a quiet companion, someone who had become part of the town's history, even if his own past remained erased. "He's not a mummy," said the funeral director. "He's our friend." But eventually, every vigil must end. In 2023, 128 years after his death, the town of Reading finally said goodbye. A name was discovered through historical records. His identity pieced together at last. He was buried in a mahogany casket, dressed in a Victorian-era tuxedo, just like a gentleman of 1895. Locals walked beside his hearse, carrying not just a body, but a legacy. They buried more than a man that day. They buried a mystery, a myth, a time capsule from the last century. Stoneman Willie never gave up his secrets, but in silence, he taught us something no living person could. That memory is stronger than death. And sometimes, the most forgotten lives leave the deepest mark. Rest in peace, Stoneman Willie. 1895, 2023.